Hey guys, what's going on? This is Hunter StarCraft. Today's matchup is a very exciting one. Can't wait to watch this replay with you guys. We have spawning at the bottom left position of Naga Caverns, our blue Terran player. A player who has more tournament winnings in StarCraft Brood War than any other player in the world. A highly respected and feared Korean pro, oGs.NaDa. In GSL May, he made it to the Final Four of the toughest tournament in the world. He had an unfortunate, falling out in the Final Four. He was very upset about it. A very passionate StarCraft player and just a confident tournament pro. I doubt he's feeling a lot of pressure today given his deep experience, and I would certainly highlight him as the favorite. But I'm not going to take anything away from his opponent, spawning at the top right position as the red Protoss player from the team Meet Your Maker. We have SaSe. I've never casted SaSe's games before. I'm not as familiar with his playstyle, but did a little bit of poking around and reading about him, and he does have a pretty strong tournament background, at least with European tournaments, online tournaments. Probably doesn't have as much experience playing against Koreans and the Korean style of play, but he better learn fast for his sake. It's going to be a tough matchup today, and I'd anticipate a tense one, an exciting match. So I'm really excited to be watching this with you guys. Barracks is just going to complete. No gas just yet for Nada. As soon as the barracks is done, he is going to get the orbital command, of course. SaSe's probe already in the base of Nada, a much faster scout than we're actually seeing from Nada. Nada only sending out his SCV at this point. Now that the Marine is on the way and going to be out in just a few seconds, the probe is forced to leave the base. Didn't really scout anything funny, and I mean, it only makes sense. As soon as the Marine is on the way out and the probe is forced out of the base, we see the command center going down for oGs.NaDa. So very mineral heavy here early on. We're probably not going to see a refinery for another minute or two. We're going to, I would imagine, see more barracks go down as Nada is going to attempt to secure his natural expansion. Nada, of course, has this SCV in the base of SaSe, sees the cybernetics core, and is going to be, very well aware that there's a stalker on the way. No chrono boost going down on the stalker, chrono boosting workers. Probably going to use a chrono booster too on the warp gate research, I would expect. But at this point, with the stalker on the way out, this SCV is going to have to head home. But you know what he's done is scouting. He sees the two assimilators, which is going to tell him that, well, it's going to tell Nada that SaSe has quite a number of tech openings that are available to him. Putting down 2 more gateways though, 3 gate and maybe a robotics facility next. We'll just have to wait and see. This probe just hanging out down at the natural. Are we going to have the orbital morph in? As we do have both refineries going down at just about the same time. They're both popping at the 5-minute mark. Orbital command on the way. 2 more barracks nearly complete for 3 barracks total. And this probe, is going to want to be careful. Doesn't want to lose that probe if he doesn't have to. Bunker going down at the top of the ramp. Nexus on the way as well. So I actually want to take a look at the vision of SaSe. SaSe hasn't confirmed that Nada has this fast command center, but regardless of that, he is putting down a Nexus of his own. There is a bunker at the top of the ramp. That can sometimes be a telltale sign of a fast expanding Terran. Stimpack research on the way now that the tech lab is complete, but no more tech really whatsoever. No factory yet. We'll just have to wait and see when he's going to put that down. Proxy pylon allows 4 stalkers and 1 sentry to be warped in, and just going to keep an eye on that natural base. This SCV though, you don't want to give away free scouting. SaSe, this is a major mistake by SaSe, not having a stalker or anything to fend off this SCV. I mean, not as SCV, wandering around, looking at whatever he wants, doing whatever he wants. Guardian Shield going up. Guardian Shield incredible against Marines. And wow, this is is looking to be some pretty good pressure here. He doesn't have enough energy for any more spells from that Sentry. Sentry does get focus fired. A lot of SCVs have gone down though. Let's take a look at the worker count. Neck and neck, 27-27. Of course, Nada has the benefit of orbitals from, or sorry, mules from 2 orbital commands. Another SCV gets taken out as well. 5 stalkers, ooh, 3 nice force fields, excellent force fields, preventing 3 Marines and a Marauder from joining the fight. I can't express, enough. Although he didn't need 2, he only needed 1, but, whatever. Even 2 is worth it, taking out all these Terran units. And you know what? I was kind of slapping SaSe on the wrist a moment ago, but I have to say he's looking to be in pretty good shape at this point, especially as you look at the worker counts, up by 13 supply this early in the game is pretty huge. With this many sentries here, he's going to be able to contain Nada for a long time. I mean, how long can he force field for? A long time. He's got almost 4 force fields, and soon he'll have like 7 or 8 force fields at his disposal, so he can really delay the Terran army from pushing down this ramp however long he wants. This SCV is still just poking around, but having this scouting information, I mean, it's nice, but it's not that helpful to Nada at this point. Nada's main concern is finding a way out of his base, and this is what I expected. He put down a factory. He's not actually going to use the factory to build any units, no Hellions or anything. He's putting down a reactor on the factory. So what Nada's going to do is he's going to switch the starport onto the reactor. He's going to pump out 2 medevacs, and he's going to elevator these Marines and Marauders to the low ground so that he can eventually bust this containment force field. And it's really too bad. Nada shouldn't even really be trying this. I mean, against a pro, you can't just expect to get, a free walk down the ramp. If you were against a much lower skilled player, maybe you can try to stim up and rush down the ramp, but it's too risky in this situation. SaSe's economy really starting to take off. He's had his robotics facility for a little while. Robotics Bay has arrived. He's getting thermal lance. He's getting Colossi. Army count still definitely favoring the Protoss player. He's got an observer. And of course the observer is going to see the reactor's starport, so he knows that there is going to be a little elevator play coming up shortly. Do we have those yet? We do have those 2 medevac on the way. The engineering bay just researching weapons level 1. I'm wondering if he's going to pop down another upgrade. Look at this factory, just getting a little scouting done. Not going to see the proxy pylon though. And I think this is about a good time for SaSe to head home. He's delayed this expansion for a very long time. He's done some significant damage with good force field timings, good reaction with that. And all of a sudden, Nada, I mean, he's been in a tough position, and he hasn't, I mean, he's slowly clawing his way back. It's better to be 20 supply behind when you're closer, at the 100 food mark than it is when you're down at like the 50 food mark. Of course, percentage-wise, the deficit has dropped a little bit, but Nada still has his work cut out for him. I'm wondering if he's going to be able to come back here. Factory now, just going to head in. It's going to see the upgrades going down on the forge. Probably isn't going to have time to spot the Twilight Council, although he may. There's not very much anti-air actually. Only 5 stalkers along with some sentries. A lot of hit points on that factory. Is the factory going to spot the Twilight Council? Of course he knows about the Colossi. Twilight Council, no. Maybe. He's going to spot it? No. Didn't spot it. Proto boosting out. Zealot charge actually. He's gonna spend lots of his minerals on zealots now. Of course, against a Terran player who's, doesn't have any siege tanks, going very bio heavy. And of course, it's very common to go Marine Marauder medevac versus a Protoss player. And zealot charge is gonna work, really well against the Marines and Marauders, especially if SaSe can really section off the army of Nada with force fields. We got lots of Vikings now coming out. You got to be careful with your Viking numbers, though. You really need to. You need to have an appropriate number of Vikings, depending on how many Colossi your opponent has. We don't have any more Colossi on the way. The final one just popped out, and I don't think SaSe's gonna, or is he gonna build more Colossi? Ooh, War Prism. All right, Chrono boosting out a War Prism. So the War Prism is going to be used for the upcoming Dark Templar play that we're going to actually see. And I really like this type of transition. SaSe, you know, knows he's in the lead. He's got a really strong army, really strong ground presence. He's got upgrades. He's going to get armor on the way now. Actually, you usually see Protoss players get armor first versus a Terran player who is going bio. You usually see ground attack first if Terran is going mech, and ground armor if they're going bio. But you know what? I mean, SaSe gets them in the other order, the other way around. That's fine. Lots of Zealots getting warped in, and the Dark Shrine is now complete. Where's that Warp Prism? It's over here. Does he have Warp Prism speed? No, he does not. I was wondering about that. But he's going to use this Warp Prism. Oh, and I think he got spotted by this. Yeah, he did. The Warp Prism did get spotted by that SCV down at the, or over at the third base for SaSe. Yeah, that SCV has just been hanging out unchecked. He's just having a little tea party with the charge lots. Yeah, you know, leave him alone. He's just a poor worker. No. Looks like we're gonna have a big engagement now as the Terran player is pushing down, and Nada does need to do some damage. He's only on 2 base. He knows very well that SaSe has picked up a third, and still no damage with the Dark Templar. It was a pretty big deal that that Warp Prism got sniped. Of course, he could have used the Warp Prism to warp in DTs in the main base of Nada. Now forced to run a DT all the way from this 9 o'clock expansion. But the DT is going to get in. Oh, big engagement over here. We have Zealots doing a ton of damage to the Marauders. Marauders not doing very much damage. The Dark Templar in the mix, and no scans going down whatsoever. Good force fields. Such a diverse army. And it looks like the Dark Templar in the main did get taken out. But this is just such a tough situation for, you know, Marine Marauder Medevac to deal with. You've got to worry about the Colossi. You got to worry about force fields, charge lots closing the gap, and then you don't have detection to deal with Dark Templar. It's just such a diverse unit composition from SaSe. Very hard to deal with. He's getting Immortals out now. He's got, you know, he's mining off a 3 base. Let's just take a look at the worker count. 62 to 49 favoring SaSe. He's up by about 50 supply as well. He's got good map control. He's got a Dark Templar over at the third, going to prevent that expansion. He's got an Observer moving in. Now just going to keep an eye on the Terran army. Doesn't want to get too close to that missile turret though. Finally another command center going down. So all of a sudden we have Nada really on the defense. I think he should put down, he could put down bunkers, although obviously Colossi outrange bunkers once they've got their thermal lance. I mean, he's got to set up some defensive posturing, because he's just not going to be able to engage this Protoss army straight up. It's just too hard. There's too many Protoss units. No more Colossi though. Just warping in tons of gateway units. I want to take a look at actually the units tab. 8 Dark Templar out, and just want to take a look at the vision again. Make sure there's no Dark Templar harassment going on. There almost could be. We almost could see a SaSe using Dark Templars to just harass the main or the natural a little bit more. Try to avoid that missile turret though, of course. Yeah, I mean, at this point, to be perfectly honest, I can't imagine Nada coming back. Yeah, he's really far behind at this point. He's going to attempt to secure a third base. Is he going to go for the... No, can't go for the gold. He almost took out those destructible rocks and then pulled back. Is he going to go for the gold or the third? Maybe he could have even morphed in the orbital command, try to get some more income before moving out. But yeah, 6 barracks, 7 barracks actually. This observer sees exactly what's going on. Some nice EMPs. Lots of damage to the shields with those EMPs, but ooh, good force fields. Just a couple more, really preventing Marine Marauders from escaping. He's going to want to use the Immortals to target Marauders. That medevac almost got taken out. Lucky medevac, just 10 hit points. Proxy pylon near the Naga Cavern, warping in tons of reinforcements. Not actually great micro from SaSe. You can see all the Stalkers and Dark Templar stuck in the middle for a while there, but it almost doesn't matter, as Nada is forced to call GG and SaSe takes game 1. I really did enjoy this game. So many different strategies, lots of tech from our Protoss player, and yeah, lots to learn for sure, especially if you're a Protoss player. you know, this European taking down one of the best Korean players in the world. Very impressed. Anyways, we're going to move on to some other games. I'm going to be casting a little bit more today, so be sure to stay tuned. If you enjoy the content, subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care, guys. Peace out.